Welcome to the January 24 edition of District 5 Advisory Board. My name is Brian Fry, and welcome. Thank you for being here. Guess there's no top of the line students. Everybody wants to sit in the back and out in the front. Our police. Trey. You want to stay out of the camera? I get it. That's fine. So welcome, thank you for being here. This is an advisory board, so I do not run the meeting. I turn it over to one of the advisory board members, and tonight Dennis Clary is going to do the honors. So Dennis, take it away, sir.
All right, good evening. Thank you, Brian. Welcome to this District 5 Advisory Board convening. This will officially call the meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is the approval of tonight's agenda for January 3rd, 2024. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
There a second?
Second.
Right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. Board members on the call?
She said aye.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. The agenda is approved and the motion passes. Second item is the approval of the minutes from our last DAB meeting on December 4th, 2023. These have been routed to all DAB members. Hopefully everybody has had an opportunity to review. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the December meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion or changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Right. Minutes from December are approved and passed. Moving on to tonight's public agenda, item number 1, there are no scheduled items. We will move to item 2, any off agenda items. This is an opportunity for anybody in attendance. If you did not request to speak on the public agenda prior to tonight's meeting, this would be the time, your opportunity to speak now. Is there anybody with us that would like to address the DAB or speak at this time? Okay. Moving on to our board agenda. That will take us to Councilmember Fry. Any updates, issues, and reports?
Yeah, just a couple of quick ones. One related to Public Works, 37th and Ridge. We approved the design and funding for that. That intersection has seen a lot of growth. The apartment complex, they're already getting ready to do their next phase, which is ahead of schedule. And their pad sites on the corner being developed. We see a lot of southbound to westbound traffic, and with those driveways, a need to expand that intersection and make a dedicated right turn. So that'll be, I think the design is, we approved the design funding. That project's gonna get let. I don't know, timing wise, I don't see anybody from Public Works, but hopefully next year you'll see that improvement. Tomorrow, we're doing the groundbreaking for Westlink Library at 10:30. It'll be cold. It'll be outside. If you can make it, that'd be great. It's a very exciting project. If you remember, that's gonna almost double in size and add more meeting room space, more library room space, just a drive-through window, just a significant increase to that facility. And it's sorely needed. So it's taken a little while to get to that, but the design is outstanding and looking forward to that. Should be about a 10 to 12 month construction. So aggressive, but Key Construction got the contract. And so they're excited about it. Yesterday, we approved a downtown parking plan. You may have read about it in news or saw it on TV. Basically, our infrastructure for downtown is woefully inadequate. We still have coin operated meters only, if those work. You travel across the country and you see app operated and phone operated parking meters, credit card operating meters and so forth. And so being able to increase the infrastructure, make better use of the parking that we have, do some different pricing levels depending upon where it's at. So just really kind of updating the entire parking plan. It's going to take a lot of communication, a lot of education for the public, but it's sorely needed, especially with all the growth in downtown and some other projects coming online, so. And then we also approved manager's evaluation. It was past due. Bob has done an amazing job for the city. We're in a fantastic financial position to weather some headwinds that we're seeing in 25, 26, and 27. So he's put us in a good position. And so it was time to do that. Yesterday was my final council meeting, Monday night. It was a swearing in of our new mayor and our newly elected District 5 council member, JB Johnson. So looking forward to your leadership and seeing where you can take this. So thank you for putting your hand out and volunteering to serve. So, and thank you all for serving on the DAB. It's been an absolute pleasure and joy. You guys have been amazing. For those of you that weren't at the breakfast, I have a couple of gifts for you at the end of the meeting. Just to thank you for everything you've done, but I think the district's in good hands. There's a lot of great projects. We have a new police substation that we're gonna build, a new fire station out in this area, a couple of park projects, a couple of other road projects. So a lot of good things for the district, and water plant comes online next year. So it's been a pleasure to serve. So that's any questions? Or the reason we're doing tonight's meeting, and I know it's kind of odd, but we couldn't do it Monday because of the holiday. Next week is District 2's DAB meeting, and we share Teresa. So she can't be in two places at once, but, and then the following Monday is Martin Luther King Day. And there's a couple of zoning issues that need to get addressed and done, and that's not fair to those residents and people that are asking for those zoning things to delay it longer than 3 weeks. So it's a little unusual, but we felt it was necessary. So anyway, that's all I have.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Any DAB members, any updates or neighborhood highlights you want to share before we move on? Okay. To those in attendance virtually and in the room, we do have some items of business to proceed, but as Councilmember Fine noted, it is a bit of a momentous occasion as this is his final DAB meeting. So please hang with us to the very end as we do have a fitting conclusion to this meeting to hopefully properly recognize his service to our great city. With that, we will move to staff reports and we will kick it off with our police departments.
I'm Officer Lori Kimmery. I am the community policing officer for beats 11 and 19. I brought some end of year stats for everybody. Just so everybody knows, it's not specific to District 5, but it is for West Wichita, for the West Bureau. So we had a slight increase to homicides. So we had 4 last year and 6 this year. So we had 2 in the whole bureau. That made a significant increase for the percentage change. So it's 50%. We had a very slight increase to burglaries, and that's residential and non-residential. So we had 100 more this year than we did last year. A lot of those are storage units. I noticed last week it was doors that were being left unlocked or garage doors open. So keep that in mind. And also vacant houses that are being broken into as well. Larcenies, that means just your general thefts, are up 9% from last year, which is a very small increase. Larceny from autos are down 10%. Auto thefts are down 4%. Everything else is down. So the only increase we saw was the 2 homicides that were different from last year and the slight increase for the burglaries. So we're still doing a pretty good job of maintaining the crime rates out here on the West Bureau. So like I said, I don't have specific percentages for District 5, but District 5 is in West Bureau. So that's all I really had, except for, of course, Second Chance Thursday is coming up January 18th, and that is going to be at 2601 North Arkansas. So that will be probably from 9:30 to 4:30 at their rec center up there. So, but we're excited for the new year. Hopefully we get some more recruits and we can get business back to usual. So was there any questions for me about anything?
Seeing none, thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, I will miss you and we'll see you around and good luck with your new adventure.
Don't pull me over. I won't have a challenge point anymore, so.
That's
a joke.
That is. All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
I'm certain. All right, that takes us to Chief Eck with the fire department.
My name is John Eck. I'm a battalion chief and I cover your district on the A shift. Let's give you a couple of things that we have coming up that we've been working on this year, and they're gonna probably go into fruition this year. One of them that we're excited about is called the Cyano Kit. If someone gets injured in a house fire, a lot of times it's a cyanide that ends up killing them. And we have these new kits that we're training on right now. We're gonna implement them soon. So it's not just CPR. We have some other interventions that we can do to help people. So we're excited about getting that on track and going. Some of the other stuff that we've had going on, just a safety message. We have problems this time of year with the ashes, fireplace ashes. In the summer, we see it as fireworks leftovers, and this time of year, it's fireworks ashes. They'll go in an unsafe container and then go up beside the house, and while you're sleeping, your house will start on fire. So we've seen a few of those lately. Something to be aware of if you have a fireplace. Grills can cause the same problem. Something to watch out for. We've been doing a lot of training at our regional training center. I don't know if you guys are aware that we have a training center at 31st and Oliver. And we're continuing to grow that and we're continuing to utilize it more often. We've been doing a lot of training with something called the Emergency Operations Center. And I've been to a few classes down there where we bring in, there's people from Derby, Sedgwick County. Last one had people from Marion County and Butler. So it's kind of becoming a regional thing like it was designed for. And what we do there is we prepare for major events, tornadoes, just anything that would be involve multi-agency work. And so we try to prepare ahead of time as best we can for that, so we can manage those situations when they come up. Let's see. Oh, another issue, and it's not really as bad in your guys' district, but we have a lot of problems right now with squatters coming into vacant homes. District 5 doesn't really have this issue as much as we see other places, but if you guys see people coming in and out of a house that's supposed to be vacant, you can kind of tell what's going on. If somebody lets us know, we can let our fire investigating unit know, and we can avoid a lot of these problems, because it's almost every day, every other day, we're having little fires in these vacant homes. And so we'd like to get out in front of that before someone gets hurt. A lot of times it's the squatter that gets hurt themselves. We had a fatality fire in a homeless in Canada here recently. So whatever we can do to help there, and that just, is being aware, watching what's going on. A few other things. We already mentioned the new fire stations. The long-term plan is a new station in District 5 and also to the south, somewhere southwest, which, how the fire department works. If there's a new station there, they're going to be in your neighborhood also. We all come when there's a fire. So we're really excited about that to keep up with the growth. And then that includes ordering new apparatus. So these things cost money and take time. So we have a few machines coming in 2024, and we have 3 more ladder trucks and 7 more engines on order. It's just a matter of when we can get them. So we're working on that. And then the one other thing that, or 2 other things, we have a new fire storage facility going in at George Washington Boulevard and Ross Parkway. Not going in, but we're working on that. Just a place to store equipment. Our machines have water in them. In the wintertime, we have to have extra machines. If a fire truck breaks down, it just doesn't go away. We have to replace it because it's 24/7, 365. So we have to have that plan in place. So we're excited to have that new capability. And then Fire Station 23, which we opened for this year while the bridge was closed because it created some coverage problems for us. this morning at 7 o'clock, we shut that down. The bridge is back open. So we're moving some of those people around, and adding a few personnel in other places, but for now that, station is closed down. And that's, a lot, but that's all I got today. That's more than I usually have.
That is. Well, that one was at the parking lot of the Dillons at 13th and West Street. And you're right, we had to order those equipment because there's a long lead time on that.
Yeah, it used to be a year, then it was 2 years, now they're telling us 4 years, which basically means they don't know. When you say 4 years, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully we'll have the land identified
yeah,
soon enough.
that'd be great.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from those in attendance tonight for our fire department? Yeah, members? Appreciate you. Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, sir.
All right, takes us to public library reports. Tracy online, what do you got for us this evening?
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry that I'm not there with you tonight. I haven't quite finished everything that I need to do at the library this evening. The first thing is just reiterate what Councilman Fry already mentioned. We're having our groundbreaking tomorrow at the Westlink branch at 10:30, and we're really excited. Councilman Fry will be speaking, and he has been very supportive and instrumental in this project, so we're very grateful to him. Another thing that I want to mention is the library has been working on a project where we replace the technology that we currently use to check out and check in materials barcodes. New type of technology to us, RFID tags. The purpose of doing this is actually to make checkout and check-in more efficient. And we have tagged all of the collection with the exception of all of the materials at Westlink that are in boxes. And when I say all of the collection, I am talking about the entire library's collection. So that's over 600,000 materials. They have been working on our materials that are in boxes, and that's kind of what we're doing at this time. But what's really cool about RFID, I mentioned that it checks out more efficiently, but it also allows customers to check out multiple items at once. Before, what they would have to do is get the barcode lined up just perfectly. And some of the barcodes actually might have been smeared, and so they wouldn't be able to check them out. But with the RFID tags, they could put like 5 on the bed of a self-check, and it will check out all 5 at one time. And they just have to confirm that, yes, they did get 5. So that's really exciting. Another thing that we are starting is our hashtag Read ICT challenge, and that's actually for 18 and older, and that's where we encourage people to read 12 books in 12 months. We encourage them to read outside of their comfort zone. It's been a partnership between the Eagle and the library, and so that's something that we're excited about. But some of the categories are really interesting, like a book someone told you not to read. So if there was ever a book in your life that someone said, do not read that, either because it's bad or they thought it was too mature for you at the time, this is your chance to just try something. That's just one of the many categories. Another thing that I wanted to mention is in February, the Advanced Learning Library will be doing a series called Celebrating Wichita's Black History. And basically what they'll be doing is they will be focusing each week, every Thursday from 12:30 to 1:30 on famous Black Wichitans. And that again will be at the Advanced Learning Library. And then, does anyone have any questions?
Do not see any in the room, Tracy.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you to Councilmember Fry, because I'm so grateful to you personally.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot from you, and then I also appreciate all of the incredible support that you've offered the library, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow and hearing your.
I wouldn't miss it. Thank you, Tracy. You've been an amazing support for this, so look forward to it.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great night.
You too. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
All right, that takes us to our Park and Rec Department reports.
Hello, my name is Gary Ferris. I'm the division manager for construction, park maintenance, and forestry. I've brought several Evolve guides. That's the park and recreation guide for all the activities that are out there on the table. Also, I brought some golf guides if you're interested in golf. The Evolve guides, as I scanned through, this edition is just chock full of great information, and it goes beyond just park and recreation and what we are doing with our classes and programs and that, but we have information about the mobile library and things like that. So it's great information to get. So we are hiring, if you haven't heard. We could sure use some additional personnel. So if you are someone or know someone that is looking for a great job, whether it be a park maintenance professional, a tree climber, forestry equipment operator, golf course professional, camp counselor, lifeguard, we've got all kinds of positions available. So check that out, wichita.gov/park jobs. Snow Glow is coming up on January 27th, 6 to 9 p.m. And that is going to be at the All-American Indian Center. That'll include sledding, food trucks. We're going to have a live DJ. Register for that at wichita.gov/park and rec. City Crew for Kids registration is open for the 2024 year. This first event is Totally Awesome. If you didn't get that, it's OZ. Awesome. And that will be on January 20th. Kansas Day celebration is also free for City Crew members, and that's for kids 12 and under. And you can register for that at wichita.gov/City Crew. All the spring sports are open for registration. That includes things like, but not limited to, adults slow pitch softball, adult kickball, NFL flag football, adult golf league, Miracle League, which, specifically Miracle League kickball, which that is an adaptive sports league. It's a great outreach. And those you can all find the details for in the Evolve guide and also at wichita.gov/park and rec. And from a maintenance standpoint, we have several different projects going on. Two specifically, plans are moving forward with the addition of the new dog park, Country Acres Park. You may notice in the next few days that the light poles, the old light poles for the tennis courts will be coming down. The tennis court, basketball court, that's going to be demolished for the building of the new dog park and all the fencing that goes along with that and parking and whatnot. Also, the Proc wetlands improvements are in review with MABCD, and the improvements are expected to go under construction phase in first quarter of 2024. Are there any questions for me about Park and Rec?
See, done, Gary.
All right. Thank you, and thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Congrats on your new position.
Thank you very much. Watching you serve from Park Board President on when I first met you. It's been a pleasure watching you serve, serving alongside you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Right, thank you, Gary. Thank you to all of our department reports this evening. At this time, I will entertain a motion to receive and file all staff reports. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, we have two items of new business this evening, both zoning cases. And with that, Philip, the show is yours.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Philip Ziebenberg. I'm with the Planning Department. We have two zoning items before you. The first is zone 2023-70. That's a big time. I can do a long intro. This is a zone change request for neighborhood office to limited commercial with a recommended protective overlay. It is located at 1901 North Maze Road. So this is just south of the Pathway Church on the west side of Maze Road. The property historically has been used for like medical office services, things like that, like a dentist or orthodontist service was in there for a while. The applicant is requesting the zone change to allow for our term is Animal Care Limited, basically that would do for small household size pets. We're not about large. That would be Animal Care General. So Animal Care Limited is household size pets, things of that nature. It does allow for boarding of animals, but it's not in terms of like, hey, we're going on vacation and you can board your pet at the vet. This is, only for animals being taken care of. Can be spending the night for however long duration they need to be there to receive the care that they're getting. Because of the surrounding area, staff is recommending a protective overlay. And essentially what we're gonna do is keep everything the way it is for the NO zoning district, but allow just the one additional use as the animal care. So in our perspective, limited commercial probably would have allowed several amount of uses that would not really be fitting for the area. And so, but like a small vet clinic, something like that wasn't necessarily going to be something traumatic to the neighborhood or having detrimental impacts. As you can see on the zoning map on the screen, the property to the north is NO as well. It's like medical offices, like a dentist or something like that. The gray properties are PUD zoning. The one to the west, it's kind of an infamous case in District 5. Not really sure what they do on the property anymore. And then you have Pathway Church as well. Properties to the east and the south are single family residential zoning. You'll note that specifically with this property, which is in the black square, the property directly abutting it to the south is the subdivision's drainage pond. So there's no direct connection with like a residential property next door. So there's still a little bit of a buffer between them and an actual house. We have not heard any public comment regarding this. This went to Planning Commission on December 28th, and it was approved consent with a 10-0 vote, which means the Planning Commission has agreed with staff recommendation, and there was no public comment at the meeting to require to be heard. So with that, I can stand for questions.
We have any questions from public?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Beautiful, but
You're okay.
I'm deaf, so.
Okay, I can speak louder.
No questions from the public? Anybody online? Questions? Okay, then we will bring the conversation back to the desk.
Yes.
See no questions. There is a recommended action from staff, which is to adopt or to request, the request be approved, subject to the protective overlay number 425. Is there any motion on the floor to adopt staff recommendation?
I move that we adopt the staff recommendation to approve protective overlay 25.
Okay. Is there? Okay. Second. Thank you, Rachel. Any further commentary or questions from the board with a vote? All right, with one abstention, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. You're gonna vote crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, thank you, Grace. Motion passes.
All right, our next item is zone 2372. This is located Maple and 135th. The property is zone limited commercial with protective overlay number 11. As you can see, we just approved 425, so this is an old protective overlay. It's been around for a while. They are just sequential. The property is next to a property address at 13710 West Maple. The property has historically been undeveloped. In the past, the larger parcel that the protective overlay applies to is developed with a bank. Specifically, a lot of this is addressing possible future development for the undeveloped portion. The protective overlay just applies to the entire parcel, so that's why the box includes the property with the bank on it as well. When amending protective overlay, you can always have to do the whole thing. So the protective overlay number 11, provision G restricts uses on the subject site to office uses, medical uses, and a bank with a drive-through window. The original document restricted permitted uses to just medical service, but in time, other uses were added to protective overlay number 11 as well. At one point in time, this property was zone general office and had a conditional use for the bank. It came through, got zone limited commercial, and that's what the protective overlay is added. The applicant is requesting the following uses. If you're following along in your staff report, I'm on page 2 in the center paragraph here, kind of second half of that second paragraph. It is single family residential, duplex, multifamily residential, accessory apartments, census living, churches or places of worship, daycare limited, daycare general, library, bed and breakfast, medical service, office general, personal care and personal improvement services, printing and copying limited, that would be like a FedEx Kinko's. That's not like we're printing a bunch of books. It's you come in and, get your packet put together or make some copies. Restaurant, retail, general and agriculture. Essentially, they don't necessarily have an intended use. The idea is likely to make this a little bit more marketable. And so, a little bit more of casting a wider net than what the current protective overlay allows. Properties to the north are zone general office under developed with multifamily residential dwellings. Property to the east, is east of the bank, even is general office, and is developed with a medical clinic. Properties to the west are single family residential and are developed with single family dwellings. And properties to the south, across the street from West Maple are limited commercial. And one parcel is undeveloped, the other parcel is developed with a dental clinic. Kind of generally went over the case history on this one. The comprehensive plan identifies the site as appropriate for residential and employment mix. And generally what that means is typically your commercial uses are going to be less intense. Whereas if you have residential, it will likely be a little more higher intensity because those are the ones that kind of blend together. We often see this type of a category as you get the step down from larger intense uses at the commercial corner. 135th and Maple, this portion of it isn't necessarily as highly intense redevelopment. Of course, you go to the other side of 135th, you have the Dillon's complex and some more intensity of uses. So we're kind of stepping down to the west as we get closer to the residential. Staff's opinion that's in conformance with the comprehensive plan because it's still not allowing some of the higher intensity uses that limited commercial could allow. It is in conformance with the land use compatibility guidelines. These guidelines recommend encouraging infill development that maximizes public investment. It also recommends that neighborhoods or even retail and office uses and high density residential uses be appropriate along arterial streets on small infill sites. New residential uses at the scale of the development is appropriate in context. This just western parcel of the site is not necessarily big. So even if you have some multifamily, it's not going to be a large complex. And even if you do, you have multifamily to the north of it. So it's not necessarily introducing a new use into the area. Any type of retail wouldn't be very big. You already have retail in the area. So it's fairly akin to what type of development is already in the area from our perspective. So staff is recommending approval subject to the revised language of protective overlay number 11. And that's essentially just adding the list of uses that they were requesting that we went over. This has not gone to planning commission yet, is going next Thursday, January 11th. And so we don't have any public feedback from them up until the time of the staff report. I was not aware of any public comment. I believe we might have some individuals here tonight. We might want to address the board regarding this case. So with that, I can send for any questions you might have for me.
Thank you both. Any questions from the DAB before we open it up to public comment? Okay. Anyone present this evening that would like to comment on this zoning case? If you wouldn't mind, please come up to the podium and
You guys wanna go first?
I'll let you go. I might see some angry words.
you'll start by stating your name and your address and you will have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Jeannie Terrell and I live at 218 South Bedford Court. We are the big corner over where all those new single family apartment living spaces are. Okay, so we've got new residents going in our backyard. We'll have 4 new neighbors in another month or 2. Whenever it's open, I don't know. Anyway, our question, my question is, do we have an idea of what they're wanting to put in there? Do we have a buyer already for this property if the overlay changes? Or is this just kind of a pre-plan?
My understanding based on the list that they gave us, I'm not representing on this with, in my experience with the range of uses that they're asking for, it's likely to make it a little bit more marketable, whether they have a buyer ready.
Right, okay,
If they possibly did, they may not necessarily be as broad.
Okay, okay. So I guess then my request to the board would be, in looking at this, I'm pretty good with most of it. Other than, retail services or restaurants. That space is already very narrow. The other three directions are all 4-lane streets. We are just a 2-lane street. We're very close to a high school. We have a lot of traffic right there. And anything that would be more than a 9 to 5 office type of hours is gonna bring in a lot of traffic. Fast food restaurants scare me right there on that corner. We already have a lot of traffic incidents and different things that happen there. I will let the rest of the guys, I'm going blank, but anyway, those are my main concerns is traffic in that space with, you know, if it's a dental office, which there's one across the street, but if it's something that is a business that has a small number of people coming in, you were talking about the less intense traffic, you know, that would be okay. But our concern really is the traffic there.
And so if I may, before we get away, Maple from 135th to 151st is slated for expansion, widening in 26, I believe it is. It might be 27, I fuzzy on the year. And then from 151st to 167th is the following. This will widen it to this point, it's not final, but 3 lanes, center turn lane for all driveways, curb, gutter, storm drains, sidewalks. Mhm. All the way to 167, but that's a couple of years away.
That's a couple of years away. And what is hang on, so that's my time, so.
No, I took part of it because I answered your
No, you're
question.
fine.
So your time is good.
Oh, I
You still
still
have-
have, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, that makes me happy. I, however, don't want like retail,
Sure.
in my backyard. Goodwill tried to be here before and we've talked about that. I don't want to be looking at trash or smelling direct results, right there, in our backyard. So anyway, those are my concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You bet, of course. Welcome, sir, again, if you wouldn't mind by introducing yourself.
Jacob Schutz.
Your address.
I live directly next to Jeannie, actually, in between Randy. So I'm the middle house there next to it. And then I don't know if he went over that. I'm half deaf too, but there is a bunch of new residences to the north of that as well. So I guess I would add on to what Jeannie was saying is I understand you're saying there's going to be an expansion. Don't put it'll take them 1 year, 6 months to put up a McDonald's or a Brahms. And you're sitting here saying, well, 3 years later, we might get an expansion. Well, don't take the protective overlay off until there's already an expansion, because I haven't lived there as long as them and they've been hearing about an expansion for years and years and years.
We've been there
and
for
years.
13
And-
years.
And the concern is that I had heard before they did this, new residences, they were gonna put a Brahms there.
Right.
Okay, and here's the deal, we already have a giant sign for Merit Trust shining into our houses all day long, and the same is gonna go for the new single family. They're not even here to talk to you guys because they haven't moved in yet, the new single family homes that are directly bordering this. And also, we both know that if you put a fast food restaurant there, if you don't put the right thing there, it's going to affect our property value, period. You can say that it's not, but I promise you it is. And so it will, and so that obviously, we're gonna talk about monetary value here. It's highly important to me. I got a young family, my kids are gonna inherit that house, they're sitting right there, and we don't need a bunch of people going in, we don't even have sidewalks too. We have no sidewalks at all. To walk, if I wanna go to the park, I have to walk down the side of the road with cars going. And you guys are asking to add more traffic, it's just, I really, really hope that you guys double think or rethink this before you approve it, because, I mean, the list goes on, I guess I can keep going. Yeah, you'll add another sign, whatever goes, there's probably gonna add another sign, unless it's something like a retail office or it's a daycare center, they're not gonna have some big, lit up sign. And There's just no way of saying in that protective order, there were so many things, to me, it felt like snuck into that, especially the restaurant and all of that. And if you could get more specific, then you're probably gonna get a lot more approval from other people. And it's not just us, we're the ones bordering it, so we're here. But we have a big Facebook group that's going to show up at your guys' next meeting, you're gonna hear from them. It's not gonna be just us this next meeting, so I would just rethink this before you guys go ahead and approve it. And I don't know how that all works. I'm not in your guys' seat, but that's, I don't know if you have any questions for me.
Thank you very much.
So the process, this board hears it, makes a recommendation to the council member. And then it goes to the planning commission, which is
Thursday.
Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Not tomorrow, next.
Yeah, next Thursday. And so the planning commission hears the same case, any recommendations, opportunity to speak, just like you're doing tonight. And then that planning commission makes a recommendation. Depending on the different recommendations, it could go to the council, depends on the number of protests that are filed. So this is your opportunity to speak out, the planning commission is your opportunity to speak out, and your opportunity to file a protest if you wish to do as well.
How do we go about filing protests?
I can
Philip can help you with that.
catch up with.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
All right. We'll get the whole meeting. All right, thank you, guys.
I'm Eric.
I'm Aaron
Thanks,
Farrell.
sir.
Welcome.
Aaron?
Yes, I'm Jeannie's husband. She's the better half for sure. And thank you, Brian, for your service.
Thank you.
You've helped us out in the past, with different things that we've talked through, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk through this, right? I do feel like this was brought upon us rather abruptly. It would, it came, yeah, there we go. December 23rd, I think, we received a letter, which it's the holidays, and it just felt really weird. Let's sneak this in. Hopefully nobody's noticing, and let's get it through. That's what this really feels like. If this is a good opportunity for the community, then you should be able to do this out in the open and just do it. This feels like we were trying to move something in very shadily. I'm just saying that's what it feels like. Again, the traffic thing is where I'm at. I'm concerned. I've got one kid left at home. Jake has several kids at home. We have no sidewalks. And we already have a lot of traffic. I mean, the early morning 7 to 8:30 is crazy right now. I don't want to add to that. There's no reason to do that.
You can't hardly turn out of there as it is.
Yeah, I mean, some people avoid our exit because it's so busy. They go to the other exit and go to the other side of the neighborhood. So I really don't think this is good. If you can expand the traffic area, then let's talk about an overlay removal. Don't talk about overlay removal before you expand the traffic area. So that's my biggest concern. And then also the trash and everything else that goes with another retail type establishment. When I purchased this home, I knew what was supposed to be able to go in there. When Meritrust purchased their property, they knew what was supposed to be able to go into there. So I don't understand why changing it now is the right option. So any other comments, questions?
Thank you, sir, for addressing that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, sir, name, address, 3 minutes.
Randy Blair, I'm at 2.6 South Decker. So we're all neighbors there in the same cul-de-sac. But yeah, they talked about the overlay before, or I mean, talked about the expansion of Maple before. Those are deep ditches.
Yeah.
So if we don't cut through Jake's backyard, we have to walk through the ditches where there's pine trees and everything. But yeah, no sidewalks. But just in the last 2 years, I've seen or heard from my house, people racing down that road and going in the ditches and rolling their cars.
Yeah.
They're right there at the driveway. So, and that's just what when I've heard, you know, I've got my car, drove around there and they're upside down or, you know, flipped over on their side or whatever else. That's how dangerous that is. So my oldest daughter, of course, she's 30 now, but when we first moved in there during the winter months, she tried to get out of there, make her simple right turn when the roads were just a little bit icy, because that is on a hill. And she spun out and went into the ditch, and Aaron actually helped block traffic while we try to get her out of the ditch, you know, pull her out of there and everything. So that is a very, if it doesn't get expanded, I mean, it's only gonna get worse. And like they said before, the, pretty much the field there, half of that now is patio apartments, which they haven't even moved in yet. So we have no idea what kind of traffic is gonna go in there. So we still got teenage drivers that's still trying to get out of there. I mean, if it was a business that was, between 9 to 5, it wouldn't be that bad. But early morning or even late at night, if they're operating a drive-through window with a speaker and everything, those kids are gonna have to try to go to sleep at night, listen to that. That's right in their backyard. Yeah, we've got a new Ziggy's, a new dental, and the, down there on the corner that used to be the medical office is gonna be a new dental office. My son's an engineer, he's helping develop that right now. So that's another business that's gonna be coming into effect. There's talks of a Brahms going in right there at 135th, where the new patios are gonna be. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not against any kind of a business going in there. I would just like for it to be like a 9 to 5. You know, nothing early morning, nothing late at night where we're listening to a drive-through window for car door slamming, because it's kind of hard to tell customers, hey, can you keep it down? Our kids are trying to go to sleep, you know? So that's pretty much my concern. I'd like to at least know what kind of business is gonna be going in there.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thanks.
Anybody else with us this evening that would like to address?
Patty Knight, I don't know.
Okay,
We have someone online, is, yeah, Patty.
hey Patty, good evening. Was this a zoning case that you would hope to make a comment?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment. I apologize. I'm at my daughter's basketball practice, and so I think I probably have maybe 5 minutes before I found a quiet area, but I do not know how long it's gonna stay quiet. I'm sorry, my name is Patricia Nugent and I live at 234 South Decker. And so I actually back up to Maple. I wanted to talk about how I'm concerned also about the same things all the other neighbors are. Mostly it's the traffic and the safety. I hear people behind my house race all the time, especially motorbikes. That's just, they get to where it narrows and people race to try to get ahead of each other. And it's already just an awkward, dangerous, congested. I know the pictures that are shown in this package you're seeing kind of shows it being open. It looks nice and quiet, but it really isn't. It gets very busy and basically, you know, like we've said before, back in 2016, there was a proposal to put in retail, and at that time it was a Goodwill, and we were able to show at that time that that it was going to be a detriment to our property values and the safety of our neighbors. And so since 2016, it's just gotten even more congested because there's been several housing additions built to the west of us. There's been several to the north of us at Central, at 135th and Central, at 13th and 135th. There's just been it's just exploded how busy it is there. So until the city approves and goes in and actually widens Maple, I just don't see how any kind of a retail store can be put in on any of those vacant lots right there without it being a detriment to the safety of our neighbors. So I guess I just wanted to say that I hope that you guys do not support this change to the overlay. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patty. Anybody else with us online or in person that would like to comment on this zoning case? So did you say, is there applicant representation or anybody?
Don't see
Okay.
some road in this.
Okay.
Over here, don't.
All right. Seeing no other commentary, we'll bring discussion back to the board. As you noted through Philip's commentary and in the report, there is a staff recommendation. Open the floor to any potential motions this evening. Question.
Hello, given the staff recommendation to modify the overlay, has there been any type of formal traffic study or consideration of the traffic study, anything?
I would like typically traffic studies and zoning, I very rarely ever see them. Because there's so many things that go into what's generating the traffic. You know, we have certain uses where, you know, in this space, they may not actually be inducing more traffic, they may be doing essentially catching traffic as it's going by. For example, we had a case of in District 1 at K96 in Rock, where they were putting in a car wash of all things. But there's concern about traffic, but their whole model was, well, we're not the ones bringing traffic here, Sam's Club is. And, you know, people can come to Sam's Club and get their car washed. Not to say that it might not induce a few more trips, but typically traffic studies and zoning haven't generally gone hand in hand. They can just be so suburban of each other where, yes, uses induce traffic, but, you know, even if they put houses in here, it would induce traffic. So it's very tricky when it comes to traffic studies of, you know, what are the trips generated and will this actually, you know, there's already plans to widen the road anyway. So I'm not really sure what a traffic study would do other than possibly say maybe delay it, but it just gets really tricky with traffic studies on whether or not they're merited with a zone change.
Thank you. To the residents, one of you, how long, to your best recollection of your best memory, have you been hearing about the expansion of the roads in your?
Of the expansion? Oh, forever.
Yes.
We've always been promised an expansion.
Yeah, I think it's been.
I've lived there for 16 years.
Nothing's ever been like, it's coming next year, but it's always been, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We've lived there for, Patty, how long? You've been there longer than us.
I've been there 16 years and it's always in the next couple years, it's gonna happen. And then it's in the next couple years and it just keeps on getting pushed out further and further. So I realize that they're saying it's gonna happen in a couple years, but it's really hard for me to really put, you know, trust in that.
I have a question, to the public, is it your thought process when Patty had mentioned the Goodwill back in 2016? Does it feel like Goodwill is somehow trying to purchase this land and they're kind of being hidden underneath this protective overlay now? Is that
That's how it happened in 2016.
okay?
And as quickly, like Erin said, we literally got the letter saying, and tonight's meeting was on the second page. The 11th was on the first page. So it
And that
wasn't, and give us your voice. It was, we're gonna decide and then you can come to it. And so it feels like, and Erin can speak better to Meritrust or maybe Patty. Just the dealings with Meritrust have not been professional. I don't know how to explain that. Like I said, I'm gonna give that back to whomever, but we're frightened that somebody is trying to pull you up.
Yeah, I don't know that goodwill is a comment or a consideration. I don't think they're in the works for this. I will say they did a great job. They came to the board, HOA, and said, hey, would you consider doing this? And I said, yes, I would. And they said, okay, we're gonna do this like the one on 21st Street. I said, okay, that's great. I went out to 21st Street, I took pictures, I saw what it looked like. The trash, everything else, how they took care of, it's not their fault necessarily, but it's just the nature of the business is how it was and the traffic. So I went out there, took pictures, saw how it was, that was great. This was not even, you didn't kind of notice, it was, here's a letter in the mail on the 23rd before Christmas. And between, Christmas and New Year's, who's actually watching? It really felt like someone's trying to sneak something in.
Well, we only get to make recommendations, so we don't approve or, we only make a recommendation, so no decisions get made today. But what I heard mostly was the retail and restaurant issues. Is there a protective overlay, Philip, that doesn't include restaurant and retail?
So, strike it out. Part of your recommendation could recommend approval of the revision without those uses being
Okay.
permitted. We can strike those too.
Okay,
So pretty much any use within the protective overlay is on the table, whether it is currently existing or some of the proposed uses. Everything's on the table of saying, in terms of uses, whether or not you want to include this.
so we can just cross out restaurant and retail. 'cause
And
that's
That
already
could be your-
the big-
that could be your recommendation.
There were a couple of words that they threw in here.
In the protective
General
overlay.
in the, on page 3 of your staff page, number 7, I think it's in red. Single family residence, duplex, multifamily residence, accessory apartments. After the word daycare, limited, what does limited mean? That I would like omitted. Daycare would be great. General, what does general mean? I don't think that.
Daycare limited in general, we have daycare limited, which is a daycare that would be allowed inside somebody's home.
Okay,
A
so
daycare
there's,
general is like, you could have a freestanding facility that would operate a daycare out of the facility. That's why there's a difference. There are different defined terms in our.
so the
code.
commas need to be put in the right place, because I was like, what does limited mean, all that stuff? That's not
The comments.
the,
Right, so it's.
and I know it's a grammatical thing, but
No, I
looking
understand.
at it from, I'm protecting my neighborhood.
Yeah, no, I get
right?
you. Like semicolon should have been used.
Absolutely.
after these things.
Daycare, limited
Yes.
or general,
Yeah.
that I can go for, so those are fine, if we get that fixed. Library is fine, bed and breakfast, I don't think it will, but hey, that's okay too.
But what's that?
Medical service, general, again, is that general office? If that's general office, that's fine. Personal care service is fine. Printing and copying is fine. Limited restaurant, again, limited restaurant, retail, general. Those 4 words at the end of the paragraph, I would prefer
So it's
not be
printing
there.
and copying limited, and then restaurant is standalone, retail general is standalone.
Okay,
What was, an office general is standalone?
Yes, and office general is already permitted as well as medical service, so those are already allowed uses within the protective overlay.
so things that have more of that less intense traffic, that are more of a 9 to 5, that aren't gonna have that flashing, glaring light, which I know there are other things that cover some of those deals, but I think those were the words that really bounced off of the page.
I still don't understand. Why does it need to change? I purchased my property, knowing this overlay was in existence. Ameritrust purchased their property, knowing this overlay was in existence. Why do we need to change this now? And sorry, my voice is failing.
No, you're okay. That's not a question I can answer. I'm not representing the applicant. The owner of the property, which is the Boeing Wichita Credit Union. There
Which is not present today.
Which is
right, probably Ameritrust is their.
And they're not here
company or whatever. They're looking to probably make it more marketable is my guess.
Right.
Since it's undeveloped and they have the opportunity and the right to ask, as well as you guys have the opportunity to provide comment and help sway a decision based on the.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation.
Adopt this type of recommendation.
Adopt, thank
removing-
you. But adjusting the protective overlay to not include restaurant and retail general. So strike restaurant and retail general from the protective overlay.
Thank you, Rachel. I did see it, before we move to a potential second, I did see a hand up and I wanted to.
And then just bed and breakfast in, is there a specific, what does that entail? Is it gonna be, because I mean, you could put a tiny little hotel, you know what I mean? Like you really honestly could. I just wanna make sure that that doesn't happen either, because I mean,
So
Yeah.
like, if a single family home was built there, somebody could,
put a, okay.
if they lived in
Specifically
it,
to that,
if
just,
just lived in the home, they could rent out a room.
okay, gotcha.
It's what existed before short-term rental.
Very specific. That's what I wanted to make.
They have to live there. And it would allow them to, so.
Also, just a couple of other quick clarifications, because I heard this before you guys take a vote, about the big flashing sign. Number one says all freestanding signs must be monument type, no higher than 20 feet in height. So that would protect some of that.
Maybe high is not the point, but the mirror trust blinking light from the teller windows runs through our back windows all the time.
Right.
And that's from
the teller or that's from the?
They have, at the teller lights, you know, like the light that says this teller is open and it's a big green stoplight and a big red stoplight. Those lights on the building come into our living room windows.
So number three says extensive use of backlight canopies and neon or fluorescent tube lighting on buildings is not permitted.
And again, anything but the uses is not on the table to change.
Right.
Everything that's not
Right.
red.
And that's what, and I understand that. I know that a lot of these other extra things, like it can only be so tall and
Right.
those things. So I
I just want to make sure you.
I appreciate that. Cause I know that will be another,
The buildings have to look like the building that's there too.
right, okay, yeah,
It
Sure,
can't
sure.
be.
yeah,
And Brian, you've helped us out
oh yeah.
over the years. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
Help us out here. This overlay existed
Yeah.
when I purchased my property.
Understand?
Thank you,
I
sir.
don't understand why it needs to be removed.
Right.
That there's plenty of new business that is happening in the area regardless of the overlay.
There is a motion on the floor to adopt the staff recommendation, striking restaurant and retail general. If I recall, Teresa, just want to make sure you have that. I could entertain a second or perhaps a friendly amendment if anybody wanted to amend further.
I would like to offer friendly amendment to leave the overlay protection as is. I think that there are a lot of questions that these folks still have that are unanswered. The applicant is not here to address those questions and those concerns. And I'm also of the opinion that it's tough to kind of go through and decipher about striking to tell a business or an entity that is purchasing something what they can and what they can't do to cherry pick throughout. So I guess in some instances, I'm kind of an all or nothing, and this is an all or nothing situation. So that would be my friendly amendment to leave the protections in place and let these folks get more answers that they deserve.
It's almost a substitute motion to deny.
Right.
And remember, what we're being asked here is this the right land use? We can't decide if it's the appropriate business.
And so
The type of businesses that are being, but you can't pick and choose which business goes in there, just the type of business. So.
Thank you for that clarification. All right. Do we have a substitute motion on the floor to deny the staff recommendation?
Second for that.
Is that accurate? So you're offering a substitute motion to
deny.
deny.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further comment or discussion from the board before we take a vote? All right, motion and a second on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
All opposed, same sign.
So.
Yeah. Well, I guess she's seconded it, so she,
So you can second, but you can change the motion. You don't have
I
to
guess you
vote
don't
for
have
it
to
just
vote,
because
right.
you, yeah, just because you second doesn't mean you have to vote the affirmative.
so we had 1, 2, 3 down here for sure. And we need to know what.
Grace, what's your vote on this?
For the substitute motion to deny.
I'll talk to you here in a second. I think this is.
Opposed. So does opposed mean you agree with the denial? Yeah, are you, yes, agree with it.
So it's really an aye. Okay, all right. Thank you for the clarification. Well, thank you, Brian, for clarifying the
So
usage.
then it'd be 4 to 2. There's 6.
Was there two opposed?
Yeah.
Okay,
Opposed.
okay.
But that was only because I thought that was the issue, was the restaurant and the retail.
No, I'm in favor. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah,
It's
4 to
5-1.
so it's 4 to.
Yeah.
5-1.
5-1, okay.
So 5-1 motion passes to deny the staff recommendation. Want to thank everybody for being in attendance, would also encourage you to follow the protest process and show up at the planning commission meeting next Thursday.
Yeah.
Leave gas to.
One-
Tip out real quick.
One final note on the roadway, if I can. So, and I know it's been frustrating, it's been promised and it's been delayed and delayed. This particular road shares the center line with District 4. So the north of the center line is District 5, which is now Mr. Johnston. And the south of it was Councilmember Bluebow, and is now new Councilmember Dalton Glasscock. So if there's opportunity to move up the calendar on this, it's gonna have to be weighed in with all other CIP requests. The traffic counts are certainly there, and it's because of the Goddard School District, it's because of all the new developments, and it's definitely needed. Again, balancing the budget sheet and our debt levels and so forth. You know, we have to plan these things out very far in advance. It's definitely in there, right? I just can't remember if it's 20, I have it in the car. I think it is 26 for the first phase from 135th to 151st. But continue to visit with Council-elect Johnston, Council-elect Glasscock, and see if there is opportunity to move it up. I can't promise that. I can't tell you that there is, but they need to be aware that, and they know the history. JV's been on this board. He knows the history. And he knows it's definitely needed. And it is going to happen, I guarantee you. Whether or not it can happen any sooner, I can't guarantee you that.
And I'll add to that. So for years, it's not, that whole mile line is not all city. It's
Right.
county,
Right.
it's, you know, so you have, does the city want to pay to put this road in, put curb and gutter in? No, they're not gonna do that. And then the county's like, we want you to take it because we have a bunch of money, but we don't want to spend it. Am I wrong? So,
Correct.
so there's fighting for the you guys are saying 16 years, and I believe it because I was involved in all of these subdivisions and designing them.
Yeah.
And that's what we run into on every time. You know, we have to do the ditches and it's like, okay, we need to improve that road, but the city's not gonna do it because they're not gonna do an eighth of a mile. So we're finally here, hopefully, to 167 because of all the development.
You're exactly right.
That we appreciate, and, you know, we knew that.
Sorry, man.
earlier, but, you know, it's just, and especially with all of the new developments and with, you know, with this new, the porch light going in and all of those,
Yeah.
all of those people, whatever kids are in there are going to Eisenhower
Oh,
also.
absolutely.
I mean, the in, and the houses that are being built next to, I mean, just traffic is just crazy. And I
Right.
know, you know, we don't have enough money to take care of all of the influx of everything else, so. But that little strip is definitely our key.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you to, I will. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. And thank you to Philip, though he's not here, for his always attention to detail. This is the tough part, as they say. I'm gonna stand for this and let me enjoy this one. If I may, as a personal point of privilege, add item 10 to our agenda this evening. Which I don't know what else to call it other than a moment of gratitude or thank you to Councilmember Fry. Thanks to Rachel for really mobilizing the members of our DAB. We have some small tokens of appreciation for your incredible service to our great city. Brian, I think I speak for all of us when we say you have led with service and humility in your hearts. Our citizenry is better for it. It's a rare combination of perseverance and vulnerability to serve the public, particularly in a thankless job.
Serve on an HOA, then you'll find how thankless it is.
You have represented not only this district, but this city with dignity and class the entire way. I know we all consider you a friend and a mentor. You have our deepest respect and admiration for your service. We are immensely grateful and excited to witness your continued contributions to our community. So
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Thank you. picture book. Family and probably other memories that it's gonna be, oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, this is awesome. Thank you. It's amazing. Rachel, thank you.
Great
We
job.
had a lot of good contributions and
Ah.
testimonials in there.
Maybe.
It was hard to fit them all in. I think there's like 30 pages in there. It was
Wow.
really hard to fit everything.
A lot of great memories, a lot of wow. This is amazing. Thank you. You know, I never set out to be a politician. Wichita is my home. It's made me who I am. And I will continue to serve it, whether or not I'm an elected person or not. My entire goal has always been to, you know, if you're an English teacher in the room, apologize, but my goal's always been to make it more better. And it's that simple. It really is. And I think anyone who lives in this town has that responsibility and should do their part to make it more better. And again, it wasn't about being an elected or a politician. It was about making this the best city it can be. And had a lot of great memories. Thank you. And but I'm not done making memories, and I'm not done serving this community. And it's just been an amazing honor and privilege to represent District 5. I grew up on the east side and moved west 21 years ago, and it's been amazing. It's been fantastic to see it grow and develop, and in the communities and the neighborhoods, and all of you and everyone that's served on this board and all the different appointments I've been able to make over the years. I've truly been blessed, and I've learned from every one of you, and every opportunity along the way. It's made me a better person. So thank you. Yeah, Monday night's gonna be hard as well. So, but again, I know I'm not done, and got a lot I want to continue to do, because I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. And thank you all for representing your neighborhood as well as you have. It's important. And having a voice and showing up is part of it. And not enough people do that these days. And so thank you for doing that as well.
Amon, I think you have something on behalf of your neighborhood association, if I'm correct, right? Is that correct?
So you guys all provided the perfect segue
Get into the shot.
because what Brian has done in terms of representing all of the folks in District 5. When I say represent all of the folks, this man has done that. And you guys here tonight, when you talk about your elected official empowering you and supporting you and being there for you and hearing your voice and making sure that your voice is heard, you guys exemplify what all that means. And you exemplify what Brian has meant to our neighborhood association over at Country Acres. When we started Country Acres Neighborhood Association roughly 4 years ago, this gentleman has been there with us every step of the way, supported us every step of the way. And no matter what it be, how big, how small, Brian Fry has always been there. We will miss you, even though we will see you around. But thank you for all that you have done for our neighborhood association. Thank you for all that you have done for our community. Thank you for all that you have done for District 5. Thank you for all that you have done for Wichita. So on behalf of the District 5 Advisory Board and the Country Acres Neighborhood Association, Councilmember Fry, enjoy this big plan.
Don't kill it.
Yeah, I was hoping to say you're not a real one, but it is real.
Oh, it's real.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Your leadership on Country Acres has been amazing. And I know you're doing great things over there, and can't wait to get that dog park open for y'all.
We appreciate you. Thank you, Brian.
If we could, let's give Councilmember Fry your.
For those of you that were not here at the breakfast, I've always had a tradition of giving my DAB members a parting gift. Thank you. So Dennis, there's yours. Carter, there's yours. Where is? Where's Rachel? Rachel, here's yours.
Oh, thank you.
Teresa, did I give you yours? I had it marked off that I did. I see it in here still. And so I still have Nick and Grace and Stacy that I will get you yours. But again, thank you all for your service. I know some of these DAB meetings have gone long and other times they've been short and sweet. But it's an important part of representing the neighborhoods. I've always made sure that I've had a good cross-section of the district and you guys have served well. So thank you again. And you'll see me around. So thank you all for coming. JB, you're in your good hands, my friend.
Too big.
No, so.
That concludes tonight's meeting and we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guys,